going on, everybody? Divisional round is upon us. I can't wait for these games. Brandon, how about you, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Yeah, like you said, four games, 8 teams for a chance at the championship round. One step closer to the big prize. So
All
here we
right,
go.
let's get into it.
All right, we're going to go to the opening drive, everyone. Jerry Jones, he announced that Mike McCarthy will return as head coach in 2024. The Raiders, the Ravens, my team, we waived running back Melvin Gordon earlier this week. The Raiders, they're finalizing a deal to make Antonio Pierce their next head coach. And RG3 and his former head coach, Jay Gruden of Ed's team, they're in a social media feud. Both guys are going back and forth with each other.
Yeah, that's some crazy stuff right there. I remember the last thing I saw from Jake Gruden was telling RG3 to go race a pigeon, and he showed a video of him racing against a bird. I thought that was hilarious. So yeah, I don't know if that feud will end anytime soon.
Mhm.
Both of them look pretty petty, so it might go on for a long time. But let's get into these games. We're gonna start with the game I'm most looking forward to: Texans at the Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 9.5 points according to Vegas. I think they should win the game. I think it'll be a little bit closer though. These teams did play week one, but at this point of the season, basically it's like a new season almost. It's the playoffs. They played the first week of the season. I think both teams are a little better, maybe even way better than they were during the first week. But yeah, I like the Raven this one. I'm gonna hand it over to you in a second. I definitely want to hear your opinion on this game. But yeah, I just think only thing I'm concerned about is our cornerback Marlon Humphrey being out. But they have a lot of injuries on the wide receiver side of the ball. You know, Noah Brown's out, Tank Dell's out. So I don't know. As long as y'all can keep the run game in check, don't let Devin Singletary, Damian Pierce, whoever else runs the ball, keep them in check. Get pressure on CJ Stroud. I think y'all have a really good chance of winning this game going on to the conference championship. But what do you think about this one, man?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth at the top. I'm looking forward to this one as well. We've been off for a week, so it'll be good to watch my team again. It's a rematch of the week one contest. Going into this season, I said I wouldn't be surprised if they beat us in week one. We beat them pretty soundly that day. Had our way with the Texans during the first half. Um, we discovered that if you go straight up the middle against that offensive line, you can get to CJ Stroud, but then they made some pretty good second half adjustments, halftime adjustments, and he started to pick us apart in the second half, get his guys the ball. It didn't show on the scoreboard, but it showed on the stat sheet for sure. But my key to winning the game is slowing down Nico Collins, containing Dalton Schultz. We had some issues with Nico in week one, and he had a pretty good game against us, but we held Dalton in check, which is something we don't typically do against tight ends. They usually have their way against us. I think offensively, we got to get off to a fast start um, against them. They've had that advantage in their past two games, which was both must win games, and of course they came out on top in both of them. So LJ is clear, protect the ball, no costly turnovers. Don't get fancy with the ball, especially when you take off and run. Protect the football. Zay Flowers, don't let the playoffs get the best of you. I know it's your rookie debut in the playoffs. You've been playing really good all season long. Same thing with him. Protect the ball. When you get in your hands, secure it. I know he likes to shift back and make all types of moves, spin moves, and uh, stiff arms and everything, but protect the football. You know, you live to see another down. OBJ, calm down and play. He does the same thing that I was just talking about with Zay Flowers. Sometimes he likes to make an extra play, and he ends up fumbling or making a mistake. So, you know, you're a great receiver. Just do your thing. Just play. And the front seven on defense, simple. Get after Stroud and keep him on the ground. Um, that should be, a key to success right there. It's supposed to be like 20 something degrees outside there in Maryland tomorrow. I don't think that'll impact the Texans. I think even though they're a dome team, they're a hot, um, warm weather team. They're built different with D'Amico Ryan's with their head coach being their head coach. I don't think that'll impact them like some people might say. But yeah, with that, I'm gonna pick my Ravens at home. Certainly not taking the Texans slightly though in this one.
Yeah, I think Isaiah Likely he'll continue to play good as well. Mark Andrews, you guys didn't designate him off of IR, so he won't be playing this week
Yep.
as well. All right.
All right, we're going to turn our attention to the Packers and 49ers. It'll be Love versus Purdy. Two of the hottest quarterbacks in the NFC will hit the field against each other on Sunday night in Santa Clara. Um, just last week, I didn't think the Packers had enough offense to keep up Dallas at home, and I was wrong. Um, Love, he was able to hit just about every throw he wanted to. He had guys wide open on crossing slants, and the defense handled its own against that hot Dallas offense. You mentioned the fact that the guys were open in our recap show. I think if they want to play in the NFC Championship game, they'll have to do about the same thing. Green Bay is at their best, in my opinion, when they run the ball. Take last week, for example, Aaron Jones had himself a career day, 3 touchdowns, well over 100 yards rushing, opens up um, big plays and all that for guys like Romeo Dobbs and the tight end Luke Musgrave. Young quarterback's best friend is a tight end. So yeah, get those guys open for sure. And defensively, I'm sure in the defensive team meetings, Christian McCaffrey was the name that was mentioned the most. They probably had a picture of him in his uniform throughout the building, like he's on America's Most Wanted, because that guy,
Yeah.
um, uh, out the backfield, he can catch the ball. Of course, he's a great running back. He can do just about anything. The offense goes through him. So yeah, San Fran, Brock Purdy, he's got to protect the ball. He's only had 5 interceptions all year. 4 of them came against my team. So he's been playing a lot of mistake-free football. We just don't want that, you know, coming off the bye to come out rusty. And I think Green Bay's special teams unit will be something I'll be watching for. I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. They struggle a lot in big games. It's either a muff punt for them, they have a missed field goal or two, or something that hurts the team. I think that'll be the surprising X factor for them. But I like both teams. Have mad respect for both of those coaches, and I like how Love and Purdy have both overcame major adversity in their young careers, but I'm got to lean towards San Fran. I think it's just too much talent on that roster. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I think the 49ers are going to win, but I would prefer to see the Packers win just to see how far Jordan Love can take the team. But I think he won't have so I don't think this game will be as easy as it was or easy as it looked against the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Hopefully they'll be able to run the ball again. Aaron Jones
they gonna need
did
it.
his thing out there. They might get AJ Dillon back. He might play. Jair Alexander, they're going to need him as well, dealing with the receivers. They got Big Debo,
Yeah,
Samuel, Brandon Ayuk.
had a good game
If
last
you
week.
remember, he tweaked his ankle again against the Cowboys, so he's questionable. There's a chance he might not play, but even if he does play, he's going to be hampered. So I don't know. It's going to be tough. They're also going to be without their linebacker, the Packers, excuse me, Kingsley Ingabore. I hope I said that all right. He hurt his knee. It looked like a pretty serious knee injury against the Cowboys as well. So he's going to be out. And for the Niners, their edge rusher, Cleveland Farrell, he's going to be out as well. But overall, I think the Niners are just a little bit more talented on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. I think Jordan Love. We might even see Chase Young look like what we thought the Commanders were going to get from him. I won't be surprised. Guys leave Washington. I'm talking about any sport, basketball, football. I'm about to go on the rant. Let me chill. But they leave Washington and they turn into all pros, Super Bowlers, Hall of Famers, you name it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Chase Young went out there and balled out in the playoffs. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Niners in this one. They're favored by 9.5 points as well. Um, will they cover that? I'm not sure. I would take Green Bay to get in between 9.5 points. I think they can make it a relatively good game. But I have a feeling it's going to be a long day for Jordan Love. I think he's going to get pressured a lot. He might get a little rattled, and some mistakes might happen. But I will say this: it looks like you were right about Jordan Love. I remember early on you were talking about how you liked him and what he looked like, and I was like, I don't know, man, I don't see it. But he definitely showed up and showed out against the Cowboys, and I think Green Bay got themselves a franchise quarterback in the future for sure.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Before we move on to the next part of the show, this episode is brought to you by Premium. a CBD wellness company. Check out their full line of CBD infused products, which make great stocking stuffers for the upcoming holiday season and any season. Perfect for athletes, weekend warriors, soccer moms, and even armchair quarterbacks. They have CBD infused honey, which is a personal favorite, as well as tinctures in mint and regular flavor. Most importantly, they are veteran and woman owned, so come get some of the sweet temptations and taste the premium difference. Use code B&E for 15% off your order. Their website is premium.com. That's PREHEMIUM.com. Again, that's PREHEMIUM.com. And now let's get back to our show. Two teams that I really didn't expect to do a lot in the playoffs, but the Bucks and the Lions. One of these teams is going to be going to the conference championship. Who would have thought that? I definitely did. Um,
Yep.
I think the Lions. I like the Lions a little bit more than I like the Bucks, even though I think the Bucks are a sneaky good team. They got a lot of players still from that Super Bowl winning team. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. I really like Antoine Winfield Jr. I don't think he made the Pro Bowl, but he's one of the best players out in the secondary, like an
Mhm.
underrated guy in my opinion. Whenever a big play happens on defense, he's usually involved. So I think those guys, along with Vita Vea, he reminds me a little bit of Lodi Nada, but he's definitely
Well,
one of those new tackles that he stopped. I think he was the main reason. If you remember last week when they played the Eagles, they had that tush push, the Beverly Shove, whatever, and they
mhm.
didn't get it. I think Vita Vea was a big reason for
He's a
that.
beast.
Yeah, definitely. But I do think the Lions should win this game. They are going to be without one of their receivers. Khalif Raymond is going to be out, but I think that two-headed monster. I think they'll get utilized a little bit more. Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery, those guys, definitely did their thing, especially David Montgomery in that game against the Eagles. But I think they'll get leaned on a little bit more. Sam Laporta of that knee, hopefully, he's a little bit more healthier than he was last week. He gets a little bit more involved. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, man, guy looks like he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory, though, the way his career's been going. I see him playing big. And I think Jared Goff is still going to play mistake-free football. I trust Jared Goff just a little bit more than I trust Baker Mayfield. So I like the Lions to beat the Bucks. I think it could be a potentially high-scoring game, though. I think Baker is going to come out there on fire a little bit, but in the end, I see I can see him making a mistake, causing a turnover, more than I see the Lions and Jared Goff kind of causing a turnover. I don't know how well the Bucks rushing attack is going to be. I know Rashad White's been playing well as of late, but I just don't know how it's going to be. So yeah, give me the Lions. How about you, man? How you see this game going?
Yeah, I think this will be the end of the Bucks run. Obviously they had the late season push to win the NFC South, and last week a great win against the Eagles, which I thought was going to happen as well. I think this Detroit team, though, they're playing with that badass mentality that their coach likes. Golf was damn near flawless against his former team a week ago as well. I think he'll continue to target La Florida. Obviously, his All Pros, great rookie tight end out of Iowa, and obviously your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown. That Tampa defense gave up 148 yards to Devontae Smith last week in the wild card game, and I think St. Brown is a more dangerous receiver, so he should get his as well. Aiden Hutchinson, I feel like he'll feast again. That Tampa offensive line, it allowed Bake to go to the ground 4 times last week. So I feel like if Tampa will have a shot in this one, they'll have to attack the Lions secondary. Has been suspect all year long. Mike Evans and those guys. I think Chris Godwin is questionable last I checked. Um, and it'll obviously help to keep that Detroit offense on the sidelines. I think I'm going to go with the Lions as well. I got them winning by at least 10 points. And I think it's their highest favorite going into a playoff game in franchise history. I read that earlier. So, yeah,
Okay.
shout out to the Lions. They had a great home crowd last week as well. Obviously enthusiastic for their first home playoff game, I think, since Barry Sanders and those guys were there in the early 90s. So, good deal for them. Yeah, like you mentioned, it's hard to believe that one of these teams are going to be going to the NFC Championship. We both thought the Bucks were going to be at the bottom of the NFC South. I think you had that same prediction as I did, either the bottom or third place. And Detroit, I think you had them a high rank, and I had them second in the NFC North. But to think of where they've come from to possibly an NFC Championship game and a 49ers loss, they'll be hosting it. So
Mm.
yeah, um, and they'd be hosting their division rival if that was the case. So that would definitely
I
be
would
interesting.
love to see Packers Lions. I
Yeah.
would love to see that conference
Hmm.
championship. That'd be crazy.
And that place will be rocking for sure. And then a heated rivalry like that. I mean, we've seen the rivalries recently in the NFC Championship games with like the San Fran, the Seattle's, the San Fran's, the um, Rams. You know what I'm saying? It seems like it's been always been that NFC West
Right.
rivalry games for NFC Championship games. So that would definitely be a good one to watch. Packers Lions. But yeah, both teams obviously got to get past this round here. So yeah, good luck to the Lions. I think they definitely got a good shot in this one. All right, we're going to turn our attention to Chiefs and Bills. Jim Nance and Tony Romo, they'll have another classic Bills and Chiefs playoff affair. This one, though, will be in Buffalo for the first time Sunday evening. Not going to lie, I think the second seed Bills in the AFC are in a little bit of trouble. It seems like no matter when these two teams play and how stacked that Buffalo roster is, the Kansas City always has their number in the playoffs. Despite the fact that Buffalo has stepped up its run game lately, in the latter part of the season, Josh Allen continues to make plays in both facets of his game, and he's also dangerous with the football. He's also generous with the football, and I think that Kansas City defense is lights out this season. Always have my eye out for Chris Jones. Like you mentioned, Vita Vea. I like Chris Jones there in Kansas City, but I think he won't be alone in this game, making Allen's night a long one. I think George Karlaftis will also have a decent game. Him and CJ, I really do got a feeling these two guys are going to be game records against Josh Allen there in Buffalo. But on the other hand, I do feel like the Kansas City Whiteouts are due for another disappointing game. They've been good lately, but this will be a little bit unfamiliar territory for their whole roster playing that first road playoff game under the Patrick Mahomes regime besides the Super Bowl. But the bottom line is, no matter what, it's hard to pick against Mahomes, Kelsey, and Andy in the playoffs. I think Buffalo's defense is still a little banged up, so I'm even more in favor of the Chiefs in this one. I do think it'll be a close one, though. I'm going to give Kansas City the edge by 3. How do you see this one?
Yeah, I agree with you. The Bills are favor, I think, is mostly because they're at home. But like you just mentioned, the Bills' defense is really banged up. That's the main reason I'm going with the Chiefs. Looking at their injuries, they're going to be without their cornerback, Christian Benford, one of their linebackers, Jalen Spector, and Taylor Rapp, one of their safeties. He's out again. Also, Gabe Davis, their wide receiver, who's a big part of their offense, he's going to be out as well. So I like the Chiefs. I'm giving them an edge just because I think they're going to be a little bit more healthier. That defense, like you mentioned, also Chris Jones and those guys. I really like the linebacker Nick Bolton too. I
Yeah,
think that defense is going to do enough to contain Josh Allen. I still think he's going to make some plays out there. I doubt he'll have break off a 50-yard run and run away like they let the Steelers. Y'all should be embarrassed. Let him do that to you. I know he's all world and everything. Y'all should be embarrassed. For the Chiefs, though, they're going to be without one of their wide receivers as well, Sky Moore. I like how you mentioned that their receivers are struggling. Rasheed Rice, he had himself a good game last week, but they're going to need somebody else to step up as well. Travis Kelsey, he's getting a little up there in age, he's banged up. Hasn't been, his all pro, all world stuff in my team. So who's going to step up? MVS, somebody's going to get out there. It's going to have to get out there and make a play. I think Rasheed Rice, he'll be their number one receiver in the future, and they'll probably have a decent game if the Bills can't shut them down. I also think, Isaiah Pacheco. I don't know how much the other guy's gonna play. I know Isaiah Pacheco's mostly the lead back now. What's the dude's name? I can't. The other running back. His name escapes me for the Chiefs.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I'm sorry.
Is it Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Yeah. CEH, yeah. Clyde was there, yeah. I think those two need to have a really good game rushing the ball. Mahomes, he usually can, pass for 250 yards, 300 yards, and rush for 50 yards, but I really think that Chiefs running game is gonna have to help Mahomes out a lot. I have a feeling, even though I mentioned that the defenses are probably going to be, especially for the Chiefs, the defenses are going to have impact. I still have a feeling there are going to be moments in the game where both sides of the ball for the Chiefs and the Bills, the offense are just going to be a little bit better than what the defense can do. I think Stephon Diggs is on the injury report, but he's more than likely going to play. But I think him, Dalton Kincaid, the rookie tight end for the Bills, Dawson Knox. I think they're going to make some plays, um, and eventually the score is going to get up a little bit. I'm predicting, at least high 20s. I think, but in the end, like you said, it's hard to bet against Mahomes. My homeboys, Shannon Sharp, nicknamed him.
Yeah.
Give me the Chiefs in this one. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs break the Bills' hearts, win it last possession of the game type, like they kind of did in the past. So yeah, give me the Chiefs. But this is probably it's a tie with this game and the 49ers is the second most anticipated game of watching. Definitely that Texans Raiders game is my most anticipated, most exciting one I want to watch. But this game and Packers Niners are the second. No offense to Bucks Lions, I'm gonna definitely watch that game as well. But I'm just most excited about those matchups I just mentioned. So yeah, give me the Chiefs. We both got Chiefs.
Yeah, the Sky Moore thing, I don't think that'll impact them that much. I was
Probably
high
not.
on him as a rookie. I don't know if you remember, I was really high on Sky Moore. I was like, man, this guy's going to break out. They're not going to miss Tyreek Hill at all because, they drafted him right after Tyreek Hill left. And he hasn't done a damn thing in his career. So, yeah, the Sky Moore, if they, they, they should have no problems. The only problem I think those receivers will have is catching the ball. And like you said, somebody else got to step up. It just, even if he was playing, it would have been Sky Moore. He lost my trust like Daniel Jones did. Like I keep saying, in that Tampa Bay Monday Night Football game a couple years ago. Yeah, Sky Moore is. I think I had him for Rookie of the Year.
Mm,
Learn my lesson.
it happens.
My lesson. All right, everyone. Uh, as always, thank you all for joining us. Always appreciate the love. Send us your thoughts on Twitter, former Twitter, now X, IG, and YouTube. As always, enjoy the games as well. Four good ones, as we just discussed. The battle for the championship round will begin Saturday afternoon, 4:30 in Baltimore. Until next time, love one another.